I keep trying different things. I am now in a parking garage. And what's interesting is this is a mall that is near my house that I grew up. I actually watched it built. I used to ride my bike here, and they're in the process of taking it down. So the parking garage is probably going to stay here, but they're building all around it. So I thought, you know what? I am just going to come on. I was driving over here to get my coffee. Let me see if I can adjust this thing a little bit better. I think that's a good thing. Okay, hi everybody. All right, today I'm going to be talking about how to keep shining your light when other people are jealous and intimidated by you. And this is a question that came in one of my comments of one of my came in the comment section of one of my videos, and I take everybody's questions very seriously. And I put them in a queue, which I keep in my phone. I keep a list, and I approach them. I try to approach them in order, but I also feel through and decide which way I want to approach them, whether it's going to be in a video or if it needs to be a live, because some things I want to expand on a little bit more than other things, because I want to really get the full gist and full energy and full feeling. I want to give that to you. I want you guys to really get the full embodiment of what I'm trying to say. And sometimes that can't be captured in just a short video. So today I want to talk to you guys about how to keep shining your light when other people are jealous and intimidated by you. Now, this is something that I'm very familiar with. And in fact, most people are probably familiar with this on some level, especially if you're someone who leans toward the authentic side, and you tend to have a personality that is shiny. And this is what comes with it, because we're all humans here, and some human beings will really like that, and they'll want to expand on that, and they'll want to be around you all the time. But the opposite can happen as well, where people get jealous and intimidated by you. And since I've been in that position myself, I know the tendency is to dim the light and to play small and to dumb down and to try to become something that you're not, because you want to make people like you. And this is part of the people-pleasing trap, is that we get stuck in the arena of wanting people to like us. So we put on masks and we do all the things I just mentioned. We dim down, we play small, because we're so afraid that other people aren't going to like us. And this is why, I'm just going to say this part real quickly right here, is this is why self-love is the miracle cure to all of these type of behaviors, because that we might exude in response to people being jealous or intimidated by us, because we haven't yet learned to unconditionally love ourselves. So we're still at the mercy of what other people think about us. And so this can be a difficult place to navigate for a lot of people, because they're like, well, I want to be liked. I want to be liked. So I'm not going to jump to the polar opposite of not giving a shat whether people like you or not, because that is part of being human. You know, we want to be liked. But where it turns into a problem is that if we focus a lot on that, okay, where the focus and energy should go is focusing on ourselves and saying, do I like me? Do I like who I'm being in any given moment? Because I talk a lot about fractured energy, okay? So we look out into the world and we're like, okay, I need to be that, I need to be this, I need to do this, I need to do that. And our energy fragments out into many different places. And that's a lot to manage. It's too much to manage for any human being. And that can cause us to, well, first of all, it's breaking away from our authentic center, our sacred self, our true self. We will pull away from that. And then we want to go into the world and we want to have amazing relationships and great careers and all of these things, but yet this energy is just fractured everywhere. And that can cause a problem. So, well, it causes problems because we don't get to experience what we were put here to experience, because we were literally put here to win, you guys. We were put here to have the most amazing spirit experience, and that's why the universe is abundant, because we can have anything we want, right? But the spiritual path is about returning back to that center inside of ourselves so that we can align ourselves to the receiving of those things. So when this person asked this question, I was like, yep, I know these questions, you guys. These are all things that I've asked myself. And that's why I always say there is no bad question, there's no wrong question, because we are all wondering the same things. There is no new story. What that means is we have all experienced the same type of feelings, emotions, and situations than everybody else. Just the storyline is different, the characters in the story are different, but we've all experienced the same type of things. And I 100% love when you all ask your questions in the comment sections of my videos. And you guys are doing such a great job at keeping them very clear and succinct so that I can really keep track of what it is that you're asking. Because sometimes people, and I've seen this on other platforms too, where people will comment, but it's not actually a question. I've seen this on a big player's platform before. She's awesome, Ian Levanzant. I just love her. And she will do a Q&A, and she's like, okay, what's your questions? And if it's not a question, she will say, that's not a question. Restate that in a question, and then I will answer it for you. So part of learning to state questions, you guys, shockingly, is part of our personal power. Because sometimes we just tell the story, and it's kind of here, you fill in the blanks for me, and that doesn't work because it's not a direct question. So when you go into the direct question, believe it or not, you are accessing a part of yourself that has not been accessed before. That's a part of you that you might have dimmed your light around or ignored, because to ask questions meant that life had to get real, and you had to really know that there was something wrong, because now you're asking a question about it. So sometimes people can shy away from actually asking questions, and or because they feel like they're supposed to already know the answer and it makes them feel stupid, so they don't want to ask the question. But in this channel, what I'm really trying to cultivate here for everybody is a community of like-minded, like-hearted seekers who want to grow. And what I'm seeing is that is the energy that I'm putting out when I record videos and I make lives and doing these type of things. And that's what it's coming to me. So I just want to say thank you to everybody anybody who has ever asked me a question or will ask me a question in the future, because this is how we grow together. And keep in mind too, you might be thinking, oh, she doesn't want to answer that question because, she's already been through that or whatever. No. Okay. Part of learning is the repetition. Okay. So me teaching the same things over and over again is reminders to myself. They are reminders to myself. And I'm really, really happy to answer any question that you guys have. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is, let's talk about the problem. Let's talk about, because I always like to nail the problem, and then we can talk about the solution. And I have no idea how long this live is going to be, so feel free to come in and come out however it needs to be for you, because we have busy schedules, busy lives, a lot going on. And you can always revisit this later, because I will record it. It is being recorded, and I will upload it afterwards. So let's talk about how we can tell if someone is jealous or intimidated by us. And sometimes, hold on one sec. It could look a couple different ways. It's not always in a negative way. So I just want to dive in. I made a little list here so I didn't forget things. One of the ways that you can tell if a person is jealous or intimidated by you is that they don't compliment you. Okay, they think you're already shiny enough. So they don't want to compliment you. Like they feel like to give you a compliment is taken away from them. So they don't want to compliment you because they already feel yucky about how bright you are. And they might not even be aware of this, y'all. It's really important you understand that a lot of times in life, the crappy things that we do, we are innocent. That's a Course in Miracles things. We are innocent children of God doing the very best we can at any given moment. So it's not serving to make this person wrong because they are jealous or insecure about you. Even if, this is what's fascinating about when people are jealous or insecure about us, oftentimes we don't think highly of ourselves. So we're like, what are they jealous or insecure about, right? So one of the things that they may not do is they may not give you compliments, okay? And in fact, sometimes they may do the opposite, where they make little jabs in your direction. And they make them seemingly innocent, okay? Which means that oh, I was just joking, or I was just playing, or, they're kind of testing the waters just to see how you react. They see how other people are going to react to this. Are other people going to jump on the bandwagon and make jokes about you as well? Or are you going to, are they going to see your light dim just a little bit because they make that comment? So this is why it's really important that we built up a resiliency to what people do towards us. And like I said, self-love is the miracle cure. Once we start really, truly doing the work of self-love, which is all over all my videos. I even have a playlist here, y'all. I think it's called self-love. I think it's just called self-love, where I post things in there. So if you're unsure about what self-love is, you can go in there, because I have 5 tenets of self-love. And they're all each so incredibly important. And what they do is they reset the foundation that you are showing up to life and relationships. Because if you are seeing the world through a muddy lens of your shame and unworthiness, too muchness, or not enoughness, right? That is going to drive our behavior, because that is how you are going to think in terms of you. And then that's going to drive your behavior, okay? But when we start self-loving, and I mean truly self-loving in the correct way, that's like big windshield wipers coming across our muddy windshield. And what happens is the world takes on a completely different view, okay? The lens that we're seeing the world through, sometimes you hear it being called a filter, is going to change. And things are going to get much clearer. So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about this today, because if these things are happening to you, and you're willing to dim your light when someone does some of these things that are based in their jealousy and insecurity, then you don't yet have a firm center about who you are. And this is something that is indescribable. Indescribable. I cannot express to you guys what it feels like on the other side of self-love, because there's just no words to describe it. I've tried many, many times. When I say that you're clearer and more grounded, that's about as close as I can get. You become less shakeable. You become less rockable. You just sit and you're more in a neutral stance, because those voids inside of you that are making you feel like there's something wrong with you are filled. And if you can imagine yourself just, where someone says something and it hurts your feelings so bad because you've been judging yourself about that same thing. And you're like, how dare them say that? I don't know how they said that to me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, imagine that feeling. Now imagine that you completely have patched all the holes inside of you. You have filled all the voids, and with the most powerful, loving energy of the universe, which is love, the most powerful energy ever. When somebody says something like that to you, you're going to be like, There's a neutral feeling involved in it. It's no longer a, oh my God, I suck and people don't like me, and all this fear that's wrapped up into it. You move out of the fear zone and into the faith and love zone. So that's what doing the work of self-love does for you. And I want to mention to you all that I don't mention this often, but I have a course that I walk people through. It is a 6-week course, and it's called Self-Love to Soulmate. And this is healing for you whether or not you are in a relationship. I have brought married men through this course. Okay, I've brought single women, I've brought people who've just exited out of some type of toxic relationship, those type of things. And what it does is I walk you through the steps through modules. So you get a module that's about 35 minutes, and then I give you you get a workbook to accompany that. And you go through that yourself, and then we meet once a week and we go through that. We do this for 6 weeks. And I will tell you this, hands down, 100%, I'm not exaggerating, that everybody that I've taken through this course by module 2 has already had a shift in their energy. The lens is already starting to clear, and they're like, what's happening? Like they're texting me, they're like, I can't thank you enough. I'm not the one doing the work. I'm just the facilitator. So I take the compliment graciously, because if someone wants to thank you, you should take the compliment. But it's the people that are doing the work. And it actually tears my eyes up, because every time I see this shift with people, it is like, F yeah. I mean, because I know their life is changing. And I'm now getting videos and texts back from people that are like, this is what happened since I took your course. So I just want to offer that to anybody for that's interested in this, where we do the work together, and it's not just about the course, because a lot of things come up for people. All these questions that we have along our journey come up for people, and we dive into all of those things. It is it's an amazing and fascinating course. However, what I've also done, if people can't afford the 6-week time with me, then I have offered it as a self-study course. And I can't remember how much that is at this moment, but you can go to my website, kristenbrown.org, and at the top of the page, they'll have a couple of tabs. One says self-study. That's a self-study course that you can get and download yourself. You will get all the modules sent directly to you. Or the other one says work with me. And on the work with me tab, you're going to have single sessions. You're going to have a 3-pack session. And then the last session, the last thing that you can sign up for is the Self-Love to Soulmate Masterclass with me. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody's like, I'm really stuck with the self-love stuff. I'm not sure what to do. We're going to retrain your brain. We're going to retrain your brain to think in terms of empowerment and in terms of a calm, centered self. And when I say retrain your brain, it's important for you guys to understand this is not about every day, after the course, you're going to have to rethink these things. We're literally going to train the way you think, okay? Because remember, I said it at the top of the hour here that whatever we think, whatever is going up inside this noggin and the beliefs that accompany that thinking are what's going to create our experience in the world. So in order to create a different experience, we have to start thinking differently and change our beliefs. We change those things up, and our brain, we start to think in a different way, and guess what that calls to us? A completely different experience. Okay, so went a little bit sideways with that, but I recognized the other day, I'm like, I never mention my courses or the fact that I coach. So I just wanted people to know that if you want a little extra help, a little more connection with me one-on-one, we do it on Zoom or phone, whatever people are comfortable with. And it's really a great thing. We have a really good time. So, okay, the next thing that I wanted to share with you that could be happening if people are jealous or intimidated by you is that they talk behind your back. Okay, that kind of goes without saying. Many of you will know these things or you will recognize these things, but they will talk behind your back. And you may or may not know it right away, but what will happen is at some point someone's going to say, Bob, that's the name I always use. It's just an easy name. It can be male or female. Bob was saying this behind your back. Or Bob said this the other day, is that true? Or Bob told me that you thought this about me, or whatever. So they're going to try to break you down. They're going to try to cut you down. They're going to try to make you less than because of their insecurities. And that's one of the most important points to understand here, you guys. Like I said, these are innocent children of God doing this. They don't yet know their darkness. They don't yet know their shadow. They don't yet know what's going on. Good morning, little iodine. They don't yet know what is going on in the recesses of their mind. So they are literally acting in a way that is organic to them. Granted, it's not great, it's not wonderful, and sometimes it can hurt us, but it's important to understand that they know no better, okay? Like the beloved Maya Angelou said. She said, when we know better, we do better. And this is why it's important to forgive ourselves along our journeys. I was a jealous person. I was jealous of certain people. I was insecure around certain people. I was intimidated by certain people. I mean, all of those things were part of my journey as well. And I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore. In fact, if anything, if I see someone shining their life, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. I'm like, high five, high 10, I'm patting their butt. Get back in the game. Go shine more. Go shine more. Because this world needs this. And there is no deficit of light shining. Okay, how do I word that better? There's no cap on that, which means that, well, Bob and Joan shine their light, so I really don't need to. Right now, more than anything, you guys, this world needs your light. It needs your light. I need you. I need you. And let me tell you, when you guys comment and you say the things you say, and I will say like prayer hands or hug, those are real. Like I am literally giving you my emoji, my emotions at that moment. I'm like, thank you. And I would hug you if you were nearby, and a big shiny heart or whatever, because I need your light. And even though you're here to get answers and you're here to heal yourself, your light affects me. Okay. And I love your light and I want you all to keep shining. And I can't wait to meet some of you at some point in person, because this is, yes, Julia. Yeah, you're a light shiner, sister. And I'm not sure if you asked this question. I'm not sure who asked this question, but I can tell you right now, Julia, that just commented, Little Iodine. Both of y'all, I have already connected with you energetically, and it makes my eyes tear up. You guys know I say that all the time, because that's how I feel. Like, I really feel like you guys are just these most, oh, it was you. Okay, great. The most amazing individuals that I run across on my healing journey, because guess who I attract, you guys? I attract the lovers, the givers, the nurturers, the earth angels. All right, because that's what I am. I'm the recovering people pleaser, right? So I attract those hearts to me now because I've healed myself. And the people pleasers, the lovers, the givers, the earth angels, the light shiners, all of these type of people, we're the one that are sometimes so far other to the other side of this, because of the people pleasing, that we do attract the narcissist. Like I always say, it's the key to the lock, okay? Because we're the overgivers, they're the overtakers, and it's the key to the lock. So what I'm here to help you guys do is to stay in that light, maintain that beautifulness that you are, and love yourself. Because when you love yourself and you go from being hyper, what's the word I'm looking for? Hyper focused on the needs of other people, you're not tending to the needs of you, okay? And that hyper focus on the other needs of people is what attracts those narcissists to us, because they feel it. They know energetically, okay, here's one that I can get my way with, and here's one that is not going to stand up for themselves, or not going to, set the gnarly boundaries that are going to shine the light on who I am. They know that. So the key here is we're going to maintain our center. We're going to maintain our loving self. Because so many people are like, I'm so afraid of turning selfish. You don't turn selfish. I promise you, you do not turn selfish. If you are over here way on the spectrum of people pleasing and codependency, I can tell you right now, you've already fine-tuned what it means to be a loving, giving human being. But what you need to do, you're not going to go way over here to the pendulum of narcissism. Okay, narcissism is grown. It is grown in our youth, just like people pleasing is grown in our youth. So you don't go, oh, now I'm an a-hole. You don't do that, okay? The key is to come right here to the center, which narcissists tend to only their needs. They're hyper-focused on themselves, where people pleasers are hyper-focused on others. So what the key is to come to the center right here, which is called interdependence. And that is where we balance between other people's needs and our own. That's the sweet spot. Okay, so continuing on, people will talk behind our backs. Okay, fine. Here's one thing I'm going to tell you guys about that, and I'm pretty black and white about it these days. Everybody talks behind everybody's back. You can't stop it. But you can get yourself in a place where you're not attached to it, where you can stop caring, where it can stop leading you, okay? Because I remember this. In my youth, I say youth because I'm not sure, I wasn't paying attention to the time frames of these things, so I'm going to say it's probably in my 20s. And I remember trying to be all those things that I felt like other people wanted me to be, because I was so afraid of being disliked, or if I could control how other people were seeing me, then they wouldn't talk behind my back. They would talk good behind my back. Was that true? Not true. Not even close to being true. Because I can't control everybody else's spiritual journey and where they are at. So no matter how nice and kind and giving and loving and whatever I was, guess what? Somehow, someone thought that was crap. Someone didn't like it. Someone was jealous. Someone was intimidated, whatever it might be. So I realized I have no control. And this is about staying in our own business. Okay, we got to stay in our own business. I talk about the 3 types of businesses that I cannot take credit for. They're Byron Katie: your business, your neighbor's business, and God's business. And anytime we are worried about what other people thinking about us, guess whose business we're in? Neighbor. Okay? It doesn't literally mean your next door neighbor, although it can. It means you're in your neighbor's business. We are going to suffer anytime we are in somebody else's business. So there's a release of letting go. Think what you want. Think what you want. The one thing I can tell you on the other side of this, that there was a part of me that was afraid of somehow getting fatally harmed, or not literally meaning death, but like the ego's afraid of dying. Okay, so it wants to control. So there was a part of me, like this piece inside of me that was afraid that if I didn't control all of this, that something really bad was going to happen to me. Whether it was physical, emotional, I don't know, because again, this is back in the day. But what I realized is when I stopped giving a hoot, nothing bad happened. In fact, you guys, the opposite. I pulled my energy back. My energy left, pulled out of that. And first of all, I cleaned up on my inside, okay? Not only did I clean up my side, my energy went in a different place, and I thrived even more, okay? Instead of worrying about that, and guess what happened to those people? They floated away. They floated away energetically and oftentimes physically. Now, I know sometimes we have people at our work and places that we have to go every day that this is happening, and could be even family members. Like it could be someone's sister or someone's brother that's jealous of each other, right? It could be people that we're around all the time, and that's why I wanted to give this talk today. So I keep going off a little bit because I talk from my heart, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through the list real quick, and so I can share with you guys the signs and symptoms, or the tells of people might being jealous of you. Okay, so the first one was they don't compliment you. God forbid they're going to give you a compliment. And if they do, it might be a backhanded one. You guys might be familiar with that. They will talk behind your back. That was the second one. The next one is they are going to feel fake. They're going to feel fake around you. Okay, remember, you are likely empathic and an HSP, because people pleasers are often that. Okay, that's why the first narrative around this was empaths attract narcissists, but it's really people pleasers attract narcissists. Okay, I'm not going to get into the whole empath thing because that's a whole different topic, and whatever. It's not for this talk, but I do have a video on it, I think. Okay, so they're going to feel fake or judgy. What that means is you're going to be talking to them, and you're just going to tell there's no authenticity. Okay, especially if they're intimidated by you, because they're not going to want to be who they are, because they're afraid that you're not going to like them. So the irony is it's going to be the opposite. But the fakeness is, it could be two things. It could be fake in a negative way, or it could be fake in a positive way, I guess would be the only way I can say this. Because sometimes if they're intimidated by you, they might want to try to get on your good side. Or if they're jealous by you, like they want to be in your light, because somehow in their subconscious, in their unconscious mind, in their ego mind, what's happening is that they think if they can hang out around you, that's going to improve them. I know. It's very strange. But here's what happens. They want to be in your light because you're shiny and bright, and this is when it's on the positive side, I guess. They're going to want to be in your light because you're bright and you're shiny, but the more that they hang out in your light, the more they realize they're not your light and nothing is changing, and they're not getting better for this. They're not getting more light because of this. This is if they are not growing, okay? Because some people will grow in your light. And then they're going to start to resent you, because they're going to see you as their source of pain. I know. It's uncanny, but it's what happens. So here you are, the people pleaser, the lover, giver, the nurturer, all these things, shining your bright light, because guess what? Light people are beautiful people. Okay, you're not shining a light and being a jerk. You can't do that. That's the wrong energy. Okay, that's completely polar energies. But they have the choice, you guys, to whether they want to grow in that light, they want to learn from you, they want to see what it is that you do, and grow in that. Now, I remember when I first started doing hair. You guys know I did hair for 30 years. I remember the girl who hired me. Her name was Michelle, and she was an amazing hairdresser. And I just remember sitting and watching her. And remember, I'm fresh out of school, and she had been doing hair for 8 years. And I remember feeling a little bit of jealousy because of her clientele. Now, granted, I'm just out of school, like I'm a fledgling, but I was 21 years old, and of course I'm going to be jealous. That's what, at that point, I'm not going to have the wherewithal to process through something at that point. But anyway, so I remember being a little bit jealous of her, but instead of being jealous, that she had all these clients. Or maybe it might have been envy. I think envy is like a kind of a notch down from jealousy. It's not like there's nothing dark around it. It's just a wishing. But anyway, I remember watching her and thinking, what does she do? How did she do this? Guess what? It wasn't her hair technique that I learned from. It was her personality. I watched her personality, because to be a successful hairdresser, you have to really fine-tune and hone the way you are with the public, okay? And I watched her personality and I started to adjust things. Now remember, I was young. I remember when someone was late. One of my girlfriends was late. I was like, and all in this righteousness because she was late. And then I watched the way Michelle handled people that were late. And I was like, okay, note to self, don't do that. Do this. But some people don't want to do this. So eventually they don't want to learn and grow from your light. So at some point they're going to feel resentment towards you. They may leave your life, especially if it's a friendship. And I do want to mention that sometimes we can't tell the jealousy and the envy and the intimidation in friendships, because I had that several times with my friends. I didn't know. I mean, one, we were so young, and she would say some things here and there about, well, you have this, but I don't. But I didn't know enough. I hadn't lived enough life to realize that that was actually jealousy or envy of me. And she would also follow like really close behind me when we walked. She didn't walk next to me. She walked behind me. And this is in our youth. I mean, we're grade school at this stage. And I would, like, say we're walking, I'd stop and she'd bump into me because she was always looking at the ground. So I didn't know the signs at that point, okay? But eventually what happened is that my light was too much for her. She didn't like it. And she felt jealous and insecure around me, which is really, really sad because she was my best friend growing up, and she just ended up pulling away from me. So, that's part of it too. But they're going to be the judgy energy also. I so wish we could meet, talk, and laugh. Let me know if you ever come to Oregon. I will. I want to go to Oregon, by the way. Chances are my husband's going to be with me, unless we go do even if we do a book tour or something. So anyway, but he's a good guy. You'd like him. So, faker judgy energy. Okay. The judgy is going to be, and this is kind of goes into my next thing, is that they're going to stare at you and they're not going to talk. So have you ever been around? I have. And I had to, here's the thing, you guys, I don't Google. I mean, I do Google sometimes. That's not true. But I don't, when I go to have these talks, I don't go like, okay, let me see what Google says. This is experience. This is wisdom. Wisdom is experiences healed. And I guarantee all of you sitting in here right now and everybody who's going to watch on the replay have a boatload of wisdom. Okay? All it is experiences healed. Thank you. Okay. So you're going to feel that judgy energy. So if you're ever around someone like that, they might just sit and kind of just stare at you when you're talking. And you're going to feel that kind of judgy energy. And it's a rough one, isn't it? When people are doing that, we're like, because you're talking to people, like let's say 5 or 6 of you in a group, but you got that one over there. It's like, and they may not even have a shitty look on their face. It's just, you're going to feel it, especially if you're empathic or a highly sensitive person. You're going to be like, and that's the moment, you guys, where we are tempted to play small. And God knows I did it many times. So many times it makes my eyes tear up. I would just it didn't look like this physically, but it was like, okay. And I would just kind of pull back. Don't be the shiny one. I tell a story about that in my book, but you guys are going to have to wait. And God, my mother was the most loving, beautiful woman ever, but it was an experience I had with her. And it was her, her upbringing about being seen but not heard as a woman, back in that age range, that generation, and not shining and not being bright and not doing, and she tried to do that to me. And it's in my book. You guys will read it when it's finally published, which is very soon. Okay, so you feel the judgy energy. They'll stare at you and they won't talk, or if they do, they won't talk to you in the group. They'll kind of do that. They'll avoid you. I mean, I've straight had people ignore me, and here I've always been nice to them and kind, and they straight up freaking ignored me. Wouldn't look in my direction. It was weird. I was like, what the heck is this? And again, not being centered in myself, not loving myself, I was like, oh, I must be doing something wrong. How can I shift and morph and change and chameleon and adjust myself so that I can get this person to like me? And if I did that, sometimes they did, okay? But I had to lower my vibration. I had to get, let's say, judgy with them or gossipy with them. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, you're my energy. But eventually my true self would shine through, and then they're like, ew, and then they go the other way. Okay? Do you want to play all those games, guys? I don't. What I know right now for sure at my age, 100%, is that I know that my energy is going to repel some people, and it's going to attract others. So I want my vibe to be high. I want my vibe to be clean. I want my vibe to be loving, all right? Because those dark ones that want to come in and want to suck on me, they're going to see that they can't. That didn't sound right, but you guys get what I mean. They're not going to. They're not going to be able to pull from me because I'm not going to give it. And I talk about this in my book as well. I can't wait for you guys to get it. But I talk about the energy vampires, and this is a startling truth for a lot of people. The startling truth is that they're not sucking from us, y'all. We're lowering our vibration being around them. Let that sink in. They're not sucking. It's not like they've inserted a tube and they're like, they're not sucking from us. We're lowering. But then we're leaving there so drained because we're low. When I learned that, I started to practice it. I was like, okay, well, that sounds true to me. Again, you hear me guys say this, I process things through my heart. I process things through my center. And I go, does this feel right or true or what, And if it doesn't, if there's not a ringing true for me, then I don't adopt it. But that felt true to me. I'm like, ooh, because it's so nice to blame, right? It's so not nice, but you get what I'm saying. It's like the ego loves that. Oh, it feels good to blame somebody. Oh, they're a sucker. They're a vampire. Oh, that feels so good. And even though they might be a dark person, you're actually lowering your energy even saying that. Okay? You're judging them. So guess who you're being like? I know. And these are the awarenesses that we have to have. So when I started to learn that I was doing those things, I was like, I didn't judge myself. I didn't go, oh my God, Kristen, you suck so bad. This is terrible. I went, oh, learning point, growth point, evolution point, up level. That's the way you got to look at those things. Stop being so stinking hard on yourself. Okay? You are a work in progress, period. Period. Like the kids say now, period, with a T on the end. All right? You are a work in progress. We're all works in progress. And we're soul siblings. And we're here doing this thing called life. And we're experiencing experiences to learn about, guess who? That's why we're here. So when I say earlier on this broadcast that those people are not aware enough yet, they're innocent children, they are. Because think of the time when you're learning something like I learned that. By calling them a vampire, energy vampire, and being judgmental about that I was lowering my own vibration. Okay? I was innocent. I didn't know that. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. Okay? So be gentle with yourself, y'all. All right. And the next one is make seemingly innocent jabs at you. I've said that. Or they make jokes at your expense, those type of things. And, some people just do that and they're not jealous or envious of you. So again, it's important for you to process this stuff. Oh, thank you, Little Iodine. She said, I'm learning a lot from you. Thank you. Or they could be yes man. Okay, I'm going to take a sip. Hold on. There's a little kid in this parking garage, and I'm a sucker for little kids and animals. Okay. I hear him going, da, da, da. So, here, they could be a yes man. It's shocking. I know. So we think the jealousy, the intimidated, all the envy, all that type of stuff is going to manifest in something that's negative. But they could be our yes man. Anything we want, anywhere we want to go, anything we want to do. Okay? They're just like, yes, 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 yes. Because they are intimidated and they're afraid of being something wrong to you. So they're just like, yes, I'll do anything you say. I'll do anything you say. So these are just examples of how the ego is going to process through when it thinks someone else is better than them. Okay, because that's really what this is all about. So intimidation really and truly is about thinking that people are better than you, okay? And that you have something on them. Okay, remember the girlfriend that I told you guys about 5 minutes ago or so, who was my very best friend growing up? Well, she ended up getting a husband, and he went to our same high school. And at some point he said to me, shocking, he said to me, I was so intimidated by you in high school. Me? Okay, I drove my parents' 1977 yellow and white Dodge van. Okay, we all drove the van. That was our first car. Okay, so here's little tiny me. I'm 5'2", in a van, right? I wasn't like dressed in the fancy clothes. I wasn't the rich kid. I went to a very wealthy school, but we weren't the rich people. And I wasn't that person. I wasn't the straight A student. Didn't live in this big gorgeous mansion. What? But he was intimidated by me. But I think what he was intimidated by was the fact that I had a pretty good sense of self. Like, I wasn't afraid to speak up about things. And I guess, I don't even know what that was, but that was very shocking to me. And when he said he was intimidated, I was like, wow. We don't know what's going on. I didn't know. I had no idea that that was what was going on with him. And it later showed up in life. It stayed with him. It stayed with him. And I won't get into the big story, but it showed up again, right? So now I have a feeling that he just thinks very lowly of himself, and he was intimidated by a lot of people, and it wasn't just me. Okay, so people are also intimidated because they feel like you're more powerful than them. Okay, a lot of times it's with jealousy and intimidation. They think you have more than them. Okay, you have something that they want. All right, they want that, and they think that's the bee's knees, and they're going to be jealous and intimidated by you because of that. But it could be that they feel your personal power. And a lot of times as we're coming up through life and we're young, before the world has knocked it out of us, we know our power, okay? And if that maintains for any amount of time, some people are not going to like that. Now, what I mean by power, I'm talking about empowerment. I'm not talking about bullying. I'm not talking about being loud and aggressive. I'm talking about this sense where they can tell there's a part of you that really has you, okay? And that part of you, especially if you are a truth teller, okay, and I say capital T truth teller, I'm actually planning, it's been in my head all weekend, that I want to do a talk called Truth Tellers, Sacred Rebels, and Black Sheep, okay? That came to me recently. I need to talk about that because a lot of us are truth tellers, okay? Because we're very in touch with truth, all right? We're not like the narcissists that are living in these weird illusions, okay? We're really in touch with right and wrong. We have oftentimes really good intuition. We're really in touch with ourselves because, again, we're empaths and highly sensitive people. Many times we were raised in environments where we had to become adept at reading the room and at reading parents or elders or whoever's facial expressions because something bad could happen. So we a lot of times people pleasers acquire a lot of wisdom along their path because they've had to, okay? And also, if you're a truth teller, then you're willing to call things like you see them. This is one of the reasons why I had a fear, I don't say a fear of, one of the reasons why I had a fear of public speaking. I'll put it like that, and I'll tell you why in a second. Because I would say the truth. I'd call it like I saw it. And the reason why is because I was so honest with myself. I called it like I saw it. If that was the thing, I called it. I was like, yep, that's it. Someone's jealous, someone's mad, whatever it was. But other people don't like that. Too much freaking light. Let me live in my darkness. Let me live in my denial. Let me live in my ego. Don't come over here with your truth because I don't want to see that truth. I want everybody else to be wrong. I want to be the victim, whatever it might be. Do you see what I'm saying? The dark people, I just looked at the clock and it was 4444. Okay. Love it when that happens. So It's too much dark. Is the dark people don't want that light. So we come in telling the truth like mofos, and they're like, "Oh my God, don't make me look at myself. Don't make me know the truth about this situation. Don't, and they're going to want to push you away. And they're going to want to make you wrong." Okay? Don't. So then when this happened to me innocently, and I'm also really highly intuitive. Julia, yes, it is yes. I'm really highly intuitive too, so I could read things. My intuition, I talk about this in my book, but it came very first time in first grade, and I tell this story, and very first time, and I was in first grade. It might have been happened before that, but I don't remember. But then, I started to, because I spent a lot of time alone, not because I was neglected or anything, just because I had brothers, they were off doing their things, my parents were, but this is, guys, what am I, a Gen X? Are we Xers? Yeah, they call us feral, right? Because we weren't being parented. Some people were parenting, but for the majority, we were just kind of, yeah, go do your thing and be home when the street lights turn on, which we didn't have street lights, but anyway, so I spent a lot of time alone, but that alone time was serving to me. This is what I tell you guys all the time. If you are in a season of aloneness, freaking embrace it. Embrace it. Because, my God, in my aloneness, anytime throughout my life I had a period of aloneness, it served the heck out of me, let me tell you. So I got really, really good with my intuition because God was my playmate. My playmate was God, so I paid attention to God, and I paid attention to feelings, and I just got in touch with stuff. So moving forward, what happened is that my intuition would say things, and because it's such a whisper when it comes in, it's so gentle and loving, why, I asked you, would my brain say, don't tell someone that? Why? It's gentle and loving. That's how intuition comes in. So I would say something to someone, and I would get the pushback, the disapproval, all the things, and I started to shrink. Didn't mean the intuitions didn't come, just means I stopped sharing them. So I would start to shrink, and I formed the belief that what I say is offensive. I formed that belief, you guys. Don't be careful. Walk on eggshells. Don't say the truth. Don't tell people what your intuition is. Don't tell people you saw your dead brother standing at the foot of your bed. I did. I had this experience. I think I talked about it in another one of my lives. Anyway, the point is that it allowed me to dumb down, play small, and to not shine my light. And I did that for a long time. Now, granted, I'm pretty shiny, and I don't say that in any sort of weird arrogance because I'm a very happy person. I'm a very loving person, and I have a very open heart, and I exude love easily, right? I smile a lot. I love smiling, and but it's organic. But so it's not like I dim down completely. It just means that I know it is exactly hard to understand why anyone would push away the truth. And that tells me a lot about, Julia, about your character and your journey, because you love the truth. And this tells me also, and give me a thumbs up if it's true, or post in the comments, that you've had this same experience. I feel like you've had the same experience. Thank you. Your children are very lucky souls to have you and your wisdom to love and guide them. It was the love of my kids that really amplified this for me, you guys, because I was in the darkest of darks, and you'll get that in my book, with the whole tsunami situation, and I was hovering over abyss of victimhood, and it was God, it makes me cry every effing time, that my kids, I just saw them, and I'm like, I can't do this. They need me. I got to figure this shit out. And I figured it out. Not only did I figure it out, I figured it the F out. Like crazy. And thank you, little iodine, because it was my love of them and them reflecting me back to me that showed me. And I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. And I did. And I will tell you right now, in my family, we have the most amazing, although I don't have guilt, no guilt. I have no guilt about it. I've healed that stuff. I have the most, I'm a very emotional person. So when I feel like loving feelings or deep feelings, that you guys are going to get it because that's authentic. Um, but we have the most cohesive family right now, and we've been through hell, and each one has individually been through hell. So I take that compliment fully and completely and with an amazing open heart, because I did the work and I'm now yielding the results. And this is why sometimes, law of attraction wise, you guys, one of my, why sometimes it takes some time for things to manifest in our life, because one of the things I desired, one of my greatest desired was, number one, that my kids wouldn't have to be in therapy over me at 30. And number two was that we had the most amazing connected relationship. Like, we were all, as they grew, that we all became just really good friends. I'm still their mommy, but you get what I'm saying. And I have that. My 16-year-old, my 17-year-old, she's 17 today. Oh my God, my daughter's birthday. Yes, she's 17 today. It's weird. But anyway, she's still coming up, but we have the most connected relationship too. So I digress, and I'm sorry, you guys. This is a live, and this is what happens when we live. So the capital T truth aspect of this. So when we are someone that gives that capital T truth to people, all right, because lower T truth to me is like, it's kind of opinions. Lower T truth is our experiences and opinions. Capital T truth is of God. It's of the highest universal truth that there possibly is, whether it comes through an intuition or it comes through wisdom, because wisdom is truth, or it just comes as channeling. And by the way, bros, we are all channels, okay? It's not like, oh, this person is a channel and they have this. No, we're all equal. We're all equal, and we all can have and cultivate the same gifts. In fact, I've heard many mediums say, yeah, I'm a medium, I've cultivated this gift, and guess what? You are too, and you are too, and you are too. But there are some things that we don't want to do. So channeling simply means opening up a stream of consciousness from spirit. That's all it means. It's all it means. If you've ever been driving and you were in la la land and you're driving and you just kind of zoned out, and then all of a sudden a thought comes in, that's dreaming too. So anyway, I digress with that as well. Let me see what the next point is here is, oh yeah, they're afraid you're going to out them. You have something they have that they might not, that they believe you have something that they don't. Now here's where it gets really interesting. They think you have something that they don't. And maybe you do. Maybe you're a self-taught pianist. Okay? Maybe my daughter, the drawings would blow your hair back. She's a self-taught illustrator. Is that what it's called? Or drawer? I don't know. She's an artist. And she just drew a picture. If I could show you, it's on my phone, I would show you, but I can't because I'm on my phone. She's amazing. Self-taught, right? Whatever it might be, whatever person's spiritual gifts and talents might be, we each have our own. And oftentimes those people that are jealous and intimidated by us haven't yet tapped into and cultivated their own. They still believe there's something wrong with them. They still believe everybody else has something more than they have or are better than them. So the truth is, you're not better than them. They just yet haven't tapped into their thing. So I think it's really important, even if you might be feeling this feeling like, what is my thing? Your thing is there, beloved soul sibling. It is there. You just need to get really quiet within, and you have to start following what feels passionate to you. If that has been squelched for some reason, or buried for some reason, or denied for some reason, it doesn't mean it's gone forever. It's still there. Okay, let me keep looking at my notes here. Oh, this is a story I wanted to tell. So back in the day, when I think I was in 5th grade, my father had an affair. And he sat us all down, or they did, my mom and my dad. Now there's 5 of us at this time. They sat us all down. I remember being this little semicircle around my mom and my dad on the ground. And my dad told us basically, I found someone I love more than your mother, and I'm moving out. My brother that passed away, he got up and left. He called him a name. Either it was asshole or son of a bitch. I don't remember. It was under his breath, and he left the room. Then he was my second oldest. Then my oldest left. And the 3 of us were just sitting there like, what? So we were 6th grade, 5th grade, and my youngest, if I'm in 5th, he was in 2nd. And we're just like, my brain, my little girl brain said, how can you love someone better than her? Now imagine this message, you guys. My brain at that moment, because my mother was perfect to me. She was perfect to me. She was all love. And what does a kid want? All love. And so, I'd say all love, but I mean, she had her stuff. Okay. She wasn't a perfect human being. But I remember thinking at that moment, how can you love someone more than her? Like, so even if someone loves you, they might find someone better. That wired into my head. Okay, but the point is that my dad moved out. The day he moved out, my mom had a nervous breakdown, which we never saw her suffer. And she was crying in the backyard. She like fell onto the grass, and the grass was going up in her mouth. And I remember going, like watching her just sobbing her head off, because I mean, she was just left with 5 kids and whatever, all the pain with that, and in the betrayal and the whole thing. And I remember she said to me later, she remembered me saying, or one of us saying, look, mommy's eating grass, because the grass was coming in her mouth. And that's what like woke her up and was like, oh my God, I need to get a hold of myself. Anyway, my point is she was going through so much pain. And our next door neighbor said to her, I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous of you. And my mom told me this later, because as I grew, you have adult conversations. She goes, yeah, do you know that so-and-so told me they were jealous of me? And this was while I was going through dad moving out. And I was like, here she is, just so much pain. But my mom was a bright light. That woman was the essence of love. And I always told her when she died, she was going to sit on God's right shoulder, because she was just love. Like, she knew how to love, but she was a people pleaser, and she was a doormat, and she didn't know how to set and maintain healthy boundaries, but she was love. And that love and that light, and she was beautiful, and she was sexy, and she laughed and smiled, and she hugged fiercely, and she never met a stranger. So anywhere we went, I'm telling you, anywhere we went, people loved her. Annalise, and here was this next door neighbor. My mom's going through the pit of hell, telling her during the pit of hell that she's jealous of her. And my mom was like, honey, I never understood that. She understood it eventually. So I wanted to share that story with you guys, because if this is happening to you, it's important that you understand that this is not about you. If you take anything from this broadcast, I want you to understand you've done nothing wrong. This is their story, and this is their path. They are we all experience stuff. You guys know, you all know we're all experiencing stuff. We all have our darkness as well as our light. We all have our shadow places as well as our light, the disowned places inside of us, until we work on those things. Okay? But this is their experience. And just because you are the player that is in their vision right now, doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. I promise you this, it's not just you. It's you right now, because you're in their scope of vision, your line of sight. But it's not just you. That they're going to feel this way about tons of other people. In fact, I remember my oldest daughter one time was working at this place, and she was having so much trouble with one of the girls that she was working with. And she was like, Mom, she'd come home every day. And she was quite young during this, so she's, late teens maybe. And I would say, babe, she was like, I don't get it. Why does everybody think she's great? And I go, they don't. I guarantee you they feel this. But Mom, they can't. But then they talk to her. I said, babe, they do. They can't not. Okay? Because we can't hide. We can't hide from people. We think we're hiding from people. We're really not. Some people may be pretty good at it for a while. It was about a month or so later. She was talking to her manager about I don't know, somehow she was telling her manager something about this person. And the manager goes, yeah, I've heard that a lot. And she was like, so don't think that you are being exclusively pinpointed as the one. All right? Not only that, if you are being exclusively pinpointed, or not exclusively, if you are being pinpointed, not exclusively, within them, please know you're doing something right. Please know. If someone's jealous of you or envious of you or intimidated by you, Now, intimidated, because we can be intimidated by scary people, right? I'm talking about when they're intimidated, when you've given no one a reason to be intimidated by you. You're doing something right, brother, sister. There's something good and loving and bright and beautiful that is going on inside of you that they see, okay? So don't look at it like I gotta change me. Yes, Julia, that was for you, my sister. I thought about you when I was saying that, or when I was thinking that the other day. There's nothing wrong with you. So please look at what's happening in this situation. Thank you for the encouragement, Kristen, my friend. Yeah. Thanks, guys. You guys, I would love you guys tap the thumbs up button, by the way, if you can. Oh, April, don't retract the message. You're good, sweetheart. These don't show up, by the way, after they're not on live. At least I haven't seen them when I post the video. Okay, so yeah, if you guys are enjoying this talk, please hit the thumbs up button because that helps my little algos. You know, the algorithms, the whole thing. I always say universe is my algorithm, but it doesn't hurt to do that. Okay, so this is not that there's something wrong with you. This means there's something right with you. Thank you. Thank you for that. This means there is something right with you. And I know it is tempting to want to dim your light and dim down, and to dumb down sometimes even. Like, don't be smart. Don't be smart. Don't have the answers. Don't be intuitive. Don't be all those things, right? It's so tempting. But this is part of self-love, is truly understanding. I know a few people who are intimidated or nervous around me. That's right, April. It is their problem. It's not your problem. Little iodine, thumbs up. It is not our problem, okay? You can stay away from them just as easily. I'm to the point now, if someone's upset with me or they think I'm something, they're not my person. They are not my person. I learned this too the other day, you guys. Not the other day, a year or so ago. There's a third of the people are going to love us. A third of the people are going to loathe us. And a third of the people aren't going to carry their way. There's only 1/3 of the people that are going to love us. At first, when I heard that, my ego was like, oh my God, what do you mean people aren't going to like me? And then my higher self said, oh my God, there's 2/3 of the people I don't need to concern myself with. That's a win. I don't need to concern myself with them because I can't. One's not going to like me no matter who I am. No matter who I am, they're not going to like me because we don't jive for whatever reason, okay? And you probably met people like that with you. Amen. Amen. And the other part, they're not going to carry the way. They're not going to care. Oh. Okay. So first, the ego, don't tell me that. And then God goes, no, that's great. My higher self goes, that's freaking bomb. I got to trust no one. Okay, she just said I got to trust no one. I trust you, Kristen. Okay, if you trust me, I hope that is because it is processing through your higher self, and your higher self is going yes. Because I always tell people, take the best, leave the rest. Take the best, leave the rest. If it resonates with you, adopt it as your own. If it doesn't, throw it out. So thank you for that lovely compliment. And I hope that you are processing through your higher self because I want you to be in your own authority seat. I want you to be in your seat. Okay. So, we weren't put here to dim down. Good girl. Good girl. We weren't put here to dim down, you guys. We are literally deity individuated. We are divine sparks. We are God inside. What do you think, why when the body dies, the light goes out, right? We can tell the minute the body dies because the light goes out, because the light goes away. Yes, April, hard time trusting people. I understand that. I need to give a talk on that. Because that's a thing. And especially if you've had a lot of betrayal and crap befall you. It's a thing. It's hard. It can be a thing, but it's clean upable. And not only is it clean upable, you can get yourself in a place where you're going to spot who's not trustworthy like this. You're going to feel it. Because once you clear out the the darkness is the unworthiness, shame and unworthiness inside of you completely, you become a clear vessel, and you're gonna go, nope, yes. One of my best friends right now, you guys, I met on my Facebook business page. It's at Kristen Brown Coaching, I believe, if you guys want to jump over there. Not telling you have to. By the way, if you want my Instagram, that's at self_love_junkie. I have a lot of really silly reels over there, and you get to see things about my family and my cats and my kids and things like that, because that's more of kind of my personal space. But anyway, if you're interested in that, if you're not, that's cool too. But what happens is when you clean up that lens, and anyway, this guy, he would always comment on my feed. And I knew. I'm like, his energy, it was amazing. He's married, I was married. I mean, there's no hokey pokey. All right, we ended up meeting in person because his family came here because they have family here. He's now in the process of getting a divorce, but the wife had family here. And we met in person. And we were just like literally fast friends to this day. That was, I don't know how many years ago. We are still very good friends to this day. Okay, in fact, I had a conversation with him this morning at the gym because his energy. All right. Other people, I was like, nope. You will get really clean about this. And you won't have to go, oh my God, like we have to do when we're in our fear zone, where we have to really discern. That discernment goes away because you'll start to be able to read it, and you'll know right away. But anyway, this talk wasn't about that. So what I'm saying is that we were not brought here to dim down. We are deity individuated. We are here to shine. And sometimes our shine is going to help another person. I know this is weird. Stay with me. Because just like your boundaries serve other people, your shine is going to serve other people, because it's an opportunity for them to see their darkness. Same thing that a boundary does. So when we're dimming, we are actually taking away from the collective consciousness. We are taking away from the collective of love. So we're not doing anybody any favors. All right. And here's the thing. We're talking a lot about shine, right? So some of you, maybe not, but might get the feeling like, oh, you have to be this bright and shiny thing in the world. That's not what I'm talking about. This is about authenticity. This is about just being you. That's your shine. That's what I want you to know is your shine. You don't got to go put on and be a shine. Your shine is already in you, and it's called your authentic nature. So when you show up in that, some people are going to be intimidated and some people are going to be jealous. But it's that authentic nature in you that is going to attract the right people to you. You're going to find your level of weird, they say, your uniqueness is going to attract people that like that level. Okay? So anytime we're stepping outside of our authenticity, first of all, we're being a con artist, and don't take that in a bad way, but we're selling a con because we're not being who we authentically are. But guess what happens? We're going to attract people that like the mask. But eventually the true self shines through, and then they're like, well, I didn't know that about you. Well, I didn't know that about you. I've had people who have sold me the mask. And when the true self came through, I was like, what the hell is this? You know? And I was like, I'm not sure how to be around you anymore. I didn't know all of that. I thought you were these things. So this is why it's so important to be our authentic self, because that is your light. Your light is not the money you make. It's not how thin you are. It's not how big your booty is. It's not how, if you've had braces or not had braces, or you have freckles or whatever. None of those things are your light. Your light is that you're just a cool person. That you are you. That you just talk like you talk, you act like you act, and you function from a place of love. Because your light is not your darkness, obviously, right? But like we were talking about earlier, when Julia said, how do people not want the truth? I agree with that like a 10,000 fold. I always tell people, tell me the truth, because I can handle the truth and work with the truth. You tell me a lie, I'm working with air. I'm working with an illusion. Nothing can get solved. I don't want the lies. I would rather someone straight up look me in the face and say something to me that they feel about me and why they don't want to hang out with me or something than give me some BS. I would rather the truth. Whether it hurts me or not is on me. Because here's the thing. If I love myself unconditionally and somebody else through their lens is having a experience of me, that's their lens, that's their experience. I don't need to take that personally. Is it not amazing how we grow from seeing what we want to see in another to seeing, yes, yeah, 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 yes. Okay, there's a thing with that. I want to talk about that, but I want to finish this point first. Okay, I'm just going to talk about it because it's life. What I'm going to say is that, yeah, many times when God, this is just such a good point because I've done this. I'm looking out in the ethers because I'm thinking about this. So many times I saw something in someone that I wanted, the stories in my book too, you guys, that I wanted to see in them because of where I was. Okay? The disempowered, unhealed space that I was in, wanted to see them as something that was going to, I don't want to say fix, because fix wasn't the word I was looking for, but that was going to fill me. So I didn't look at all the other parts of this. I can't wait for you guys to read this story in the book. It was a game changer for me. And once I kind of woke up out of that stupor, I saw who that person really was, and I was like, man, God did for me, universe did for me what I was unwilling to do for myself 2 times in a row. Tsunami husband and the one that followed. Had a brief relationship after him before I vowed to remain single and celibate. And that story's in the book. Didn't make it into my first book because I was a baby writer and didn't know how to incorporate it all, but it is in this book. Okay, so that's very important. So let me go on to see what my notes are. This might be the last point I'm going to make. Don't quiet your inner child. Don't quiet your inner child. Let me tell you about that. So the people who purchased my book, you are going to have an opportunity to get a reader's bonus. And in that reader's bonus, I'm doing 3 meditations. They're not long. They're going to be 7 or 8 minutes. And these meditations, I've sent them to my daughter. I sent the first one to my daughter. She goes, Mom, I cried. And then she posts on her Instagram story the next day, and the next day she was like, my mom sent me this meditation just to see what I think about it. She goes, I have not stopped thinking about it. She said, because it's tending to your inner child. It's called Securing Your Inner Child. That's one of the meditations. It's 7.5 minutes long. So 7 minutes and 46 seconds is this meditation. But you secure a piece of you that we have unknowingly and innocently stepped away from in this meditation. And these meditations are designed to, she even said, my daughter goes, she goes, Mom, these are perfect because people can draw upon these anytime they're feeling a certain way. Like they're like, okay, grab that one and listen to that one. We have these inner children inside of us. Now, I didn't learn inner child stuff during my College of Kristen. What I realized afterwards was it was my inner child that I was healing. I didn't know. Okay, so I wasn't doing inner child work, and I didn't research any of this stuff, you guys. I was doing this all spiritually. That's why I call myself a spiritual speaker and coach and whatever. So quieting your inner child, all right? When we dimming that light, dumbing down, playing small, what you're doing is you're telling that little girl or boy inside of you that they're not right, that they're not okay, that they're not enough, that they shouldn't do that they're wrong, that they're bad, or whatever. So I want you to imagine in your head right now, you guys, if you're not driving, maybe even just close your eyes and imagine who's someone that's small or weak. So it could be an elderly person, a pet, or a young child. Picture someone that you love so much. that you would do anything for them. Like you would go to bat for this person or pet. Okay? Now imagine turning to them and saying, no, 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 don't do that. Dim your light, play small, dumb down, do these things. That's too much, that's too much. No, no. Imagine, would you do that? You'd want them to shine. So anytime that we are dimming down to be around people, we're actually telling that little girl or boy inside of us that there's something wrong with them. And guess what that contributes to? Shame and unworthiness. And what's the one thing that we're trying to heal? Shame and unworthiness. Because what brings us to our best, most centered and grounded self? Healing shame and unworthiness. So when we choose to play small around the people that are jealous, intimidated, we're telling little me, little you, that there's something wrong and you're contributing to the shame and unworthiness cycle. Okay? So that's what we're looking to clean up, is that hidden shame and unworthiness. I'm just learning how to use my phone. What is your book and how do I get it? Okay. My book is not published yet. This is my second book. I just got the very last round of formatting. I guess there's this big formatting process. And I have to go through that. It's literally on my computer as we speak. And I have to make sure that everything's where it needs to be. And then that's the go-ahead where I give it back to them. Then they're formatting the Kindle version. And then it's going to be published. So literally in like a month. If you go to my banner here, it's called, the picture's there. Excuse me. It's called, oh, now I'm looking at this clock and it's 11:11. So I got 4444 and 11:11. What does that tell you guys? We're all supposed to be here together right now. This is exactly where we're all supposed to be. It's called The Recovering People Pleaser, a spiritual guide to reclaim your true worth and attract the love you deserve. And that will be coming out probably within a month. I don't have the exact date yet, but I will let you guys know when that comes. I'll actually even post it in the community tab. So we don't want to dim down because we're telling that inner child that there's something wrong with them. And that's the very thing that's starting them to contributes to them dimming down. So do you see how this can be a vicious cycle? At some point, we got to put a wrench in that. We got to put a wrench in those gears turning. Put this big, I always imagine these massive gears like turning, right? And then this huge, big, round lead pole and just shoving it in the gears so that they stop. I will no longer quiet my inner child / my authenticity. Right? Now keep in mind, authenticity doesn't mean you get to walk around being an a-hole. Oh, I'm just being authentic. You know, I talk about that in my first book, From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment. I talk about that, which is another book. I need that one too. I'm definitely a people pleaser and I struggle to fix it. This book, April, I'm telling you, you guys, this is it. It is literally my story. It is what I did. It is tools. It is practices. It is it. If you take it seriously and you read it, thank you. I'm so happy about our live talks getting bigger and more sharing. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, people like are re-listening to these a lot. On the back channel, I can see that, you know, what happens with these. I didn't think people would listen to these because they're so long, but they do. Anyway, so what was I going to say? I talk about that authenticity. Authenticity is about what do we like, what we don't like, whether we need to put ourselves to bed, whether we, you know, like this type of music, don't like this type of music, you know, what's our political party, whatever it is. It's truly owning all aspects of who you are without apology. Who are you? What do you like? Okay? Being authentic doesn't mean that we go running around spewing our truth and hurting people's feelings and saying, well, I'm just being authentic. That's not what it means, right? We have to use discernment. We have to use class. We have to use grace. We have to use compassion because we can tell our truth, right? But I have seen people be a-holes and say, I'm just being authentic, all right? That's not what it means. It means, thank you, April. She subscribed about a week ago. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I do want to tell you guys this, that I mentioned this and 2 people picked up on it and started commenting about this, that I'm really, really considering a forum where we could all talk face to face. So after my book is published, I'm thinking about doing some type of group. I'm thinking about calling it Self-Love Junkies, okay? Because that's what I am on Instagram, Self-Love Junkies. So I'm thinking Self-Love Junkies Unite or something like that, where we're going to get together, and whether it be a book study or whatever it might be, we get together probably once a week or maybe every other week. It'll be a subscription, so there'll be a small charge for this every month, and we'll get together. But let me tell you something, you guys, I don't teach anything different when we're one-on-one in coaching, except we dig into your experience. So the teachings I teach are the same. The difference between one-on-one coaching is that we get into your individual experience. That's why one-on-one coaching is important, because we get into what, where you can really dig into yourself, and we can unravel and unwrap things that are individual to you. But all of this is the same. Okay, so what Self-Love Junkie sounds great, doesn't it? So thank you. Thank you for that, because I really think that's what it's going to be. Anyway, so I think that's an idea that I have pondering around, and that way that we have this group that's ongoing and that we can actually discuss this stuff in person. And, I'll do it very organized, because I don't want everybody talking over each other. That's a no-go for me. And I'll have time limits. Okay, time limits for how much people can bring up their thing, and then other people can contribute. And we'll do the hand-raised feature on Zoom so that no one's talking over each other. I'm a really great facilitator of rooms. People have to be sure not to get their feelings hurt, though, because I really do want everybody to get a chance to be able to speak. And so once you get used to it, there's a nice cadence and flow to it. And so we'll all get a chance to share. And you don't have to share if you don't want to. You can even not have your screen on if you don't want your face up there, because sometimes we're not there yet. And I want to meet everybody where they are at. So my final point is going to be that is about the small inner child within you. It's okay that someone's jealous of you and intimidated by you. Not your problem. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. Okay? You didn't create it. You can't cure it. This is one of my favorite things. Okay? You didn't create it. You can't cure it. You can't control it. Didn't create it. Can't control it. And can't cure it. Okay? That is so important to understand when we're dealing with other people and their ish. That gave me so much peace and freedom. I learned that through Al-Anon. Al-Anon is the loved ones of addicts. When I went to Al-Anon for 6 months after my tsunami husband left, I learned that. And I was like, that is not just with that. That's with everything, right? We can't control other people's paths. We can't control what they think or feel. We can control how we think or feel. So take that fragmented energy that you guys have out there that's thinking you need to adjust yourself in some way to fit in with the mold of who these people are. Nope. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. We need your light. We need your authenticity. We need your creativity. We need your wisdom. We need your experience. We need your intuition. We need all things, your gifts and talents. We need all things that make up you, because you are a unique and valuable individual in your own right. Because your soul entered an earth suit that has all this DNA and all these things. You came here with gifts. You came here for a purpose. We don't want you being like other people. No. Okay? We want you to be you. And we want you to share that light as far and wide as you can possibly share it. And let the people that don't like it fall away. Let them fall away. Let them, guess what? When they fall away from you, there's going to be a whole slew of other people that they're jealous and intimidated by, until they decide the pain of staying the same is too much. And that's when they will crack open and they will start to look at themselves. But unless or until that happens, it is not your business. Please continue to be you. I want to thank you guys for coming here today and joining me. I would appreciate if you hit the the like button so that you can, sorry, the algorithms can pick up on this and get this more out there. And I truly look forward to, hopefully starting that group. I want to, it's just I have a lot that I'm working on right now, you guys, and I got to get all this stuff done. February's going to be a very busy month. And then I'm going to start some type of thing where we can all join together as a community. But I really super appreciate you guys. I appreciate you being here. And I invite you to recommend the channel to someone you love. If you think someone could benefit from this, you got a girlfriend, you guys are going through similar things, or a guy friend or whatever, say, hey, let's talk. Thank you, Julia. Thank you. Mwah. When your own children fall away and 2 OD, yeah, sweetheart, I know. You've had a rough journey. You've had a rough journey. I understand completely. So recommend it to someone that you think could benefit from this as well, or that you could talk about these topics with. So if you watch one of the videos or something, you're like, wow, this makes so much sense. Play that little section to a friend and say, what do you think about this? Because the more, oh, great. Yep. Their dad was a narc. The more that you talk about this stuff, not only inside your own noggin, but you write and journal about it and then speak it, the faster you're going to learn it. And that's part of our healing journey as well. Because remember, you are retraining the brain. You're taking in new knowledge and you are forming new synapses, whatever they call them, in the brain. I'm losing the word right now. Typical. Okay. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sitting with me in this parking garage. And because I just thought the lighting was a little bit better. It wasn't so bright. And I will talk to you guys next time. So much love to each and every one of you. Thank you for all your beautiful comments. Thank you for your shares. And thank you for sharing your heart with me. And thank you for being here. Okay? Mwah. Bye, everybody.